Welcome to the Holistic Health Show, where the worlds of science and spirituality converge to illuminate a path towards total well being. Join us as we embark on a journey to bridge the gap between Western medicine and complementary therapies. Hello, welcome back to the Holistic Health Show. As always, I'm so grateful to have you join me today. Today on the podcast, we're talking to Emily Miller, who is a master face reader and nutritionist. Today, we're going to talk about how your face can show areas of stagnancy and how to create true body healing based on what your face shows. I'm really interested in this, Emily. I've actually never heard of it before, so I'm excited for what I'm about to learn. What I would love for you to do is just dive right in and maybe give us a little background about how you got into this and why you do this.
Yeah, sure. Face reading is not super well known, I would say, but it's been around for hundreds of years. It was actually founded way back in the day for Chinese practitioners as a way to treat women, because at the time, doctors were not allowed to touch women. So they had to find a way to diagnose women based on their faces and like what they could see. And so that's really how face reading came about. And so I ended up learning face reading and becoming a master face reader under Lillian Bridges, who at the time was considered like the world's renowned face reader. And her lineage dates back to the Ming dynasty. So it's something that's been around for hundreds of years. And I've always been interested in alternative medicine, more holistic options. And when I was in college, I was thinking about going to medical school, and I ended up hearing Lillian Bridges on a TV show talking about face reading. And from there, I traveled out to California and studied under her to become certified.
You've given us a bit of the background, but ultimately, what is face reading? Is it expressions? Is it lines? Is it like palm reading where you're looking at the lines and the wrinkles? Can you kind of explain that a little bit more?
Yes, there is an aspect of palm reading, if you will, in that every single thing on your face means something. Every single feature. So the size of your nose means something, your eyebrows, the shape of your eyes. All of that paints a picture of the personality you are projecting into the world. But on top of that, then every area of your face can also be matched to an organ. And so, based on the color, the fullness, if there's markings within that area, then we can also look to see how is that organ functioning. And organs, from a face reading standpoint, we believe that organs hold emotions for us. And so, what you can start to look at is to see how well somebody's body is functioning based upon the type of life they're living and what sort of emotional traumas maybe they've experienced, and whether or not they're moving through those traumas or if they're essentially stuck in them. And you can see if somebody's frozen on their face. You can see if somebody's processing emotions. And you can also see if somebody's moved through them. And so essentially, your face is more or less a map showing the type of life you've lived up to this point and provides a glimpse into what it will look like going forward if you do not change anything.
So, and correct me, of course, if I'm wrong, you can get an understanding of if there's an illness in a particular organ or if it's not functioning optimally based on the related areas of the face. I suppose if I might compare it to the areas of reflexology on your feet.
Yes, very similar.
Okay, great. Good. I'm understanding. One thing that immediately comes to mind is how are you navigating this? Or perhaps there is no impact when somebody has, eyebrows microbladed or fillers or whatever, just, any sort of work done or even makeup. Does that impact your work?
It can to an extent, especially if you're using makeup to specifically contour your face a specific way. It changes what that feature represents and what it naturally is for you. And so, if somebody wants me to do a face reading on them, what I actually recommend is that you don't wear makeup or you wear very minimal makeup, because most people are specifically wearing makeup to either change their features to look, softer, harsher, whatever, but then they're also using it to cover color. So let's say you have splotchiness, acne, redness, all of that means something to me. So I don't want that to be covered. When it comes to fillers and things like that, it's actually really interesting because lines mean something. And a lot of people will get, let's say, like Botox in the forehead to remove forehead lines. But I look at that as a really good thing to see somebody with forehead lines because it shows transformation across time. It shows lessons that you've learned. And I can date somebody's face based on where they're marking. And so if you're removing that, you're also removing those experiences and the lessons you've learned. And so it's almost like the body starts to forget and you end up getting stuck in cycles sometimes. What's also interesting is when you're looking at like lip fillers or something like that to change the shape of a feature, you are coming off then looking different than how you internally act and feel. So, for example, if you're somebody that has naturally really thin, small lips, and all of a sudden you're getting a filler to grow your lips to look bigger, that comes with a very different personality characteristic. People subconsciously read people's faces all of the time. You just might not know what you're looking at, but you know if something feels off. You'll get a vibe about somebody, right? And so you're actually reading faces. You just might not know what you're looking at. And so it can almost throw somebody off when you see that feature, but it's a fake feature and it's been enhanced. What we always say as face readers is if you want to change a feature, you can change your personality and start to embody what you want to become, and that will naturally enhance that feature to your face. But fillers get tricky from that standpoint of it's a fake characteristic at that point, and it can sometimes appear fake subconsciously to other people.
So you've just said, you can modify your personality to modify these features. But then does this also go with if you address the illness, then the features would then again change? I mean, I'm thinking when you look at someone and you think, gosh, you really don't look well, you don't look yourself, and they're usually under the weather or tired or they've got something going on. And so then they get the rest or they get the healing that they need. And all of a sudden the life comes back in their face. So that's where we're going with this, right?
Yes, you brought up a really interesting thing of like you see the light come back. And from a face reading standpoint, we call that Shen. Shen is essentially your soul shining through. And so when I'm face reading somebody, it's not always stemming from illness that their Shen has been darkened, but it can be from emotional trauma. It can be from just struggling through where they're at in life and they're feeling really blocked. Let's say they're lost within their career, or all of a sudden, a really common one is women hitting perimenopause and all of a sudden feeling lost in their body, feeling lost with what they're supposed to do next because their children have now kind of bypassed needing them. So now all of these women are getting lost within themselves. Their bodies are changing. They don't understand why. They don't know what they want to do going forward. And so you can see changes within the lightness of their face or their shen. And my job, part of healing, is to help bring that back through. So, whether it's been dampened by illness or by life experiences, that's how you can heal somebody. And naturally, then your face changes because the lightness automatically changes. So, there's an aspect of both feature modification, but also just like how bright somebody looks based upon those sort of experiences and what they're dealing with.
I wonder if you could give us an example of something that corresponds with something else, like, I don't know, the shape of an eyebrow to XYZ.
Yeah, sure. There's a lot. I would say one of the most common ones I see a lot of, for example, is loss of an eyebrow. And so you'll see somebody where they used to have eyebrows and all of a sudden their eyebrow length starts to decrease or they start to lose eyebrow hair. And so you'll see a lot of people start to pencil it in or they just think like, oh, that's part of aging. It's not. So, loss of eyebrow, your eyebrow shows your liver and gallbladder strength. And so it can actually point toward liver and gallbladder issues, especially depending on where you're losing the eyebrow hair and then how much it comes in. But your face shows issues in the organ before lab work will, because that takes a long time to develop. And so if I see somebody's eyebrows starting to fall out or diminish, then what I'm going to automatically do is make recommendations that support liver and gallbladder health, even if clinically it's not showing up yet, because I know it eventually will.
And is this where the nutritionist portion of your work comes in?
Yes. Yep. And so what I see on somebody's face, then nutritionally, I work to support it.
Interesting. I'm very intrigued by this, and now I feel like I'm gonna run to the bathroom and check myself out in the mirror. Try not to look at myself as we're recording, in the camera. But no, I'm really interested in this, and I suspect that everyone listening will be as well. Do you find it hard, or perhaps because it's your work, it's not something that you do, but you're in a sea of faces every day when you leave the house. Do you find it difficult not to just run up to someone and say, "Oh, whatever it is"?
It used to be. I've been face reading now for 8 years. And it's something when you first learn, it's almost like information overload. Like you go to a store and you can see everything. And I started to essentially teach myself to shut it off so that I can live, with everybody else. Like, not everybody is ready to hear everything their face shows. And I take that very seriously, right? Is that like you have to be ready for it and ready to receive it. And so in my normal life, it's not something that I aggressively seek out. Like, there are natural things that will always slip through, but it's never so much that, like, I can't function. Because otherwise, like,
Mhm.
if I'm actually reading somebody's face, I'm asking questions based immediately on what I see so that then I can dive deeper, and, like, solve the problems, essentially. And it's really hard to walk through normal life, see things, and not be able to dive deeper. And so it's essentially just something that I'm like, okay, like, work needs to stay there so that I can still be integrated normally within society.
Do you find that this is something that one should take up kind of regularly or through different life stages to maintain their health? If this is a way that they're going to now investigate and understand their health better, when do you recommend somebody starts this and then how often?
That's a really good question. Your face is always changing. And so if you were to actually look in the mirror every day and start paying attention to certain markers, you could watch your face change. Now, with that in mind, your face also shows different decades of your life and how potentially easy or hard those decades could be for you. And I would say one of the hardest transitions for both males and females is transitioning midlife. 40s to 50s, that decade tends to be extremely challenging for people. But it's really challenging, and this sounds weird, but really challenging because you're going from a hard feature, which is your nose, is your 40s, and hitting a really soft feature, which is your philtrum between your nose and lips. And so you're going from what I consider to be a yang energy feature to something yin, very soft and flowy. And so how you live your life and the types of things you do within the decade should actually be based upon whether it's a hard feature or a soft feature. And you can kind of get lost within it if you don't know what to expect. And so, with that in mind, most people find me when they feel lost. And they're lost more often than not hitting a decade or getting really close to a new decade. And it's naturally subconsciously because of that feature switch. You feel it and you don't know what to do. And so from an everyday health standpoint, there's little things you can look at. And yes, it would be helpful to uh, like, some people see me like often, meaning like every couple weeks, once a month, because there's a lot that you can do from a like emotional standpoint. But what you can also do is essentially get one, know what's coming and kind of prepare for it and set yourself up long term. As long as you are matching with your face, life tends to flow much easier.
So, is how young is too young to start? I mean, we don't want to be putting these pressures or these ideas in kids' heads that, your face has to look a certain way. Certainly not. But when it comes to the health aspect of it, how early is too early?
So I'm very particular in that, and this is how I was taught too, is that you don't decide your face until you're 25. And so there's an aspect that I will never fully read somebody's face until they are 25 years old because I don't want to have any sort of conflict within what they are trying to figure out for themselves. Like you need that struggle, you need to kind of find yourself before you find me. Now, with that in mind, there's still aspects that I can touch on and that I will touch on with people younger in regard to like health aspects, but I keep it very limited to that, or only, I don't want to say like positive things, but if it's something like a feature I know that people tend to be self-conscious about, but I think it's beautiful. So for example, big noses. I love seeing a big nose on somebody's face. Like it's a beautiful feature to me because of what it represents. But especially as you're growing up, that can be a really challenging feature to fall in love with and understand. And so I will only essentially like touch on things that I think are encouraging aspects, like where I can encourage them.
Yeah, that's understandable. Emily, I hope that everyone listening is as interested in the work that you do as I am. And for those who are, how can they get in touch with you?
I have an Instagram page. I have all the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and then I also have a website. My website is Nourish and Lift. And from there, if somebody's interested in learning more and if face reading would be a good option for them, I offer completely free 30-minute consultation, which I can do in person. I have an office where I'm located in Michigan, but I also do Zoom and I can read somebody's face over Zoom. What I also offer is if somebody doesn't want to do an in-person or like a Zoom consultation with me, I can read your face off of pictures and essentially send you back a document. I'm finding that this works really well for a lot of people because then I can provide a lot of information and break it down, and then they can kind of take it, read it, and then ask questions. And that can be really, really helpful. So I do what I call facial diagnosis blueprints, where if you send me pictures, then I essentially provide a blueprint back of everything your face is showing, potential health things, how you could work on them from a nutrition standpoint, and basically like everything we talked about and more would get sent to you.
It's amazing how much we can do now across the globe. Emily, I want to thank you for the work that you're doing and for sharing it with myself and all of our listeners.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's been a pleasure. And again, if you're interested, definitely check out her website. I will post all the information in the show notes of the video or the episode, wherever you're listening. So reach out and discover if a face reading is right for you. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks for joining me on the Holistic Health Show and trusting me to guide you towards proactive healthcare. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe now on your favorite podcast platform and get ready to embark on an incredible journey toward holistic wellness. Until next time, be well and stay holistic.